One greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thank you for joining me. Knoxville, Tennessee has an uptick of violence as of late. I don't know what the problem is, but it is affecting our community. The youth, several youth have been gunned down. Another young lady was murdered earlier in the week, and I would like to bring you that said information. I will be bringing you a source for each article. So if you need verification, log on to those said sources. 10 News is the source for this first article, and there is also a video in the commentary. And I also will be bringing you a story of a young lady who lost her son to a drive-by that took place a few years ago in a housing development. Her name is Miss Zenobia. I know of her. This was a very tragic event to lose her son, and most people in this area know of her. And it's just a recap of what has happened in the community years ago and up till now, the astounding amount of violence that has been affecting the community, the city, the county, and a loss of life, a lot of lives, especially with the young people. So I'm going to bring you that said information. The first story is by 10 News. KPD, man charged with murder after a woman dies of wounds in suspected road rage in North Knoxville. This was updated the 22nd of this month. KPD said that 38-year-old Tamara Lynn Ann Russell of Powell was pronounced dead at the UT Medical Center after extensive life-sustaining efforts proved unsuccessful. A woman who was critically wounded after a suspected road rage shooting in North Knoxville Wednesday has died due to her wounds, police said. The Knoxville Police Department said that 38-year-old Tamara Ann Russell of Powell was pronounced dead at the UT Medical Center after extensive life-sustaining efforts proved unsuccessful. Previously, KPD arrested and charged Paul Faulkner, 30, of Knoxville after the shooting. Faulkner now faces charges for first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. Prior to Russell's death, he was initially charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, among other charges, police said. Now, this update came from February 19th of this month. Knoxville police have arrested a man and charged him with attempted murder in a shooting that critically wounded a woman in North Knoxville Wednesday. According to the Knoxville Police Department, officers took Paul Faulkner, 30, into custody late Wednesday night following the shooting on North Central Street near Atlantic Avenue near Compass Heating and Air around 2:45 p.m. Knoxville Police Chief Eve Thomas said there appeared to be elements of road rage in the shooting, but police are still investigating. According to arrest records, Faulkner was riding as a passenger in a Jeep with 2 others when a white van swerved into their lane. Police said the victim, identified as Tamara Lynn Ann Russell, was driving the van with another male passenger. Records said several words were exchanged between the occupants of both vehicles before Faulkner got out of the Jeep with a handgun. The record said he began firing, hitting the van approximately 5 times and striking Russell in the head with a bullet. The record said Faulkner also shot the Jeep twice and hit a Knox County school bus occupied by a driver, bus chaperone, and 1 student. No one on the bus was hurt. Officers said Faulkner fled in the Jeep. When they arrived, police said they found the woman unresponsive. The man was not harmed. Emergency crews rushed Russell to UT Medical Center for treatment. Faulkner is facing charges of attempted first-degree murder, 3 counts of reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, and 1 count of employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. The shooting came shortly after Knoxville officials announced efforts to reduce violence in the community following 3 different shootings in the past few weeks that killed Austin East High School students. On February 2nd, Faulkner was charged with attempted second-degree murder after reports of an aggravated assault incident reported at 2518 Broadway in Knoxville. A pilot staff member identified as Samantha Howe told the responding officer that a woman identified as Alexis Peacock was hiding from Faulkner inside the store's stockroom. The officer came in contact with Peacock and said she had signs of abrasions around her neck and injuries on her scalp from hair being pulled out. Peacock told the officer that she got into an argument with Faulkner, identified as her husband, inside her vehicle at the Dollar General on Dutch Valley Drive. She tried to leave the vehicle, but Faulkner pulled her back, exited the vehicle, came around the vehicle, and attempted to strangulate her, according to warrants. The rear passenger, identified as Trinity Peoples, was exiting the store and saw Fountainer on top of Peacock. All of them got back into the vehicle and headed towards Broadway. Peacock told Fountainer she needed gas and pulled into the Pilot, where she asked the staff to hide her. Howell said she saw Fountainer entering the store, indicating that he was going to kill Peacock. When Fountainer couldn't find Peacock, he exited the store and got back into the vehicle. As the officer arrived on the scene, Fountainer had already fled the scene, and Peacock told the officer the name of her husband, Paul Fountainer. Peacock said she was going back to a safe place in Chattanooga and would seek medical attention at a later time. She received a case card and procedure for an order of protection, warrants indicated. The officer was able to get a picture of Fountainer entering the Pilot store, but was unable to watch footage from the Dollar General on Dutch Valley Road. District Attorney Heather Good was notified and was able to confirm Fountrainer's identity through a Michigan NCIC inquiry. Warrants show a bond was set at $500,000. This said information is by 10 News. So this guy has been a busy guy. He is accused of strangling his wife at a Dollar General store. Also killing this woman in a road rage incident. So he is obviously a violent person, because you're on record strangling your wife in a public place, being on top of her, and then you swerve into someone's lane, words are exchanged, and now a young lady is deceased. A mother is deceased, and there are some children without a parent today. I bring you this information because it's sad. And it's, as I state, it's an uptick, as this article states. A few children, high school students, have been murdered recently. And it seems like it's just an ongoing situation of violence here in Knoxville, Tennessee. As I state, I don't know what is going on, but it's out of control. I want to bring you some more information pertaining to stats here in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, so you can about get a general idea of what's transpiring here in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's loading up. Knoxville, Tennessee crime rates. Safest Knoxville neighborhoods. Neyland Drive, Kingston Pike, number 1. Number 2, Shady Grove, Choteau Estates. 3, Bluegrass. 4, Garland. 5, Pine Springs. 6, Poplar Hill Road, Chanute Lane. 7, West Gallagher Ferry Road, Frank Herron Road. 8, West Emory. 9, Foxfire. 10, Robinson Crossroads. Never heard that before, but interesting. Now I'm going to give you some data. On the crime index, Knoxville is rating at a 4, safer than 4% of the U.S. cities. Number of crimes, 1,265 violent. Property, 8,385. Crime rate per 1,000 residents. At violent is 6.74. At property incidents, 44.70. That's another part of this I'm trying to pull up. Okay. Violent crime comparison per 1,000 residents, 6.74%, which is a little bit over the national median, which is 4%. That's in Knoxville. Tennessee in general is 5.95%. My chances of becoming a victim of a violent crime in Knoxville is 1 in 148, 1 in 168 in the state of Tennessee. Knoxville violent crimes population, 187,603. Okay. There's some totals on here. Property crime comparison per 1,000 residents, 44.7 for Knoxville, 26.53 Tennessee. My chances of becoming a victim of a property crime, 1 in 22 in Knoxville, 1 in 38 in the state of Tennessee. Knoxville property crimes population, 187,603. United States property crimes population, 328,239,523. Report total, burglary, 1,117,696. Theft, 5,086,096. Motor vehicle theft, 721,885. Wow. Rate per 1,000, 3.41 for burglary, 15.50 theft, 2.20 motor vehicle theft. And that's just a little synopsis of what's going on in this community. So they're having some issues here, obviously. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what's going on, but there is a lot going on, and it's just out of control. I'm going to bring you another set of information pertaining to shootings that mirror a terrible incident that took place years ago. 10 News is also the source. Recent shootings echo back to violent history in Knoxville. In May 25 years ago, 5-year-old Brittney Daniels was shot and killed in her Lonsdale neighborhood. 3 teenagers were killed because of gun violence within a matter of weeks in Knoxville, and it has the community as well as city leaders demanding change. And this was on the 19th of this month, this article by 10 News. "25 years ago, a 5-year-old by the name of Brittney Daniels was killed in the Lonsdale neighborhood. Just like today, the community rallied for change back then. The senseless killing of Daniels shook Knoxville on May 18, 1996. It came after years of violent crime in the streets and consisted of daily shootouts. City leaders and officials met day and night talking through solutions. If I said we had dozens of meetings, that would be an understatement," said former Knoxville Police Chief Phil Keith, who in the center of it all. People were outraged that a 5-year-old was murdered. He said the community conversation was strong. Faith leaders met with alleged criminals to talk about solutions to the daily violence. Keith said they used all their resources to find answers as to who killed Daniels and to discover their motive. There was a drug dealer with within an arm's reach of Brittney and her mother when she was shot and killed, said Keith. The unrest echoes what we're seeing today after 3 teens were senselessly shot and killed. The deaths have neighborhoods, families, and leaders asking what needs to be done. Keith said that their strong-willed efforts after Daniels was killed led to a substantial decline in crime. However, he also said that he knew it wouldn't be the end. "We never crossed the finish line. That's the side of law enforcement you have to accept," said Keith. "There's no end to the terror that runs through these neighborhoods. It's just another generation you have to prepare for. I think crime control planning involves the community and components of our public safety networks, schools, and district attorneys, judges." Police arrested a handful of people in connection with Daniels' death. At the forefront was 16-year-old Melvin Davis. And that is the set information pertaining to the death of little Brittney that took place back in 1996, spring of 1996. It was a horrible crime that affected the Lonsdale community and Knoxville in general, because to lose a 5-year-old child is very horrific. I'm also going to bring you another commentary, 10 News, and this is the death of a young guy who was also gunned down in the Lonsdale community a few years ago. And if you need verification for the story, 10 News is also the source. "It's not right. 2 mothers who lost sons to gun violence plead for change and healing." Zabion Dobson died in 2015 when he shielded his friends from gunfire. Justin Taylor died earlier in February, shot and killed in a car by a friend. And this was uploaded February 19. 3 teens have died in as many weeks in Knoxville due to gun violence. It has changed city leaders to bring change and has caused untold pain for their families. "It's like my heart literally being snatched out of my body," said Stephanie Taylor. Her son Justin Taylor was killed 3 weeks ago by his friend. Police said that the shot was from the back seat of a car, and the driver continued on for 15 minutes to Western Heights Baptist Center, where police found his body in the vehicle. The shooting was around 6 years after another shooting took the life of a teenager, Zabion Dobson. He died shielding his friends from gunfire in 2015. "His life mattered," said Zenobia Dobson, his mother. "His dreams, his values, his visions, all that, it mattered. They all matter." She said that preventing shootings and confronting the issue starts by simply talking with children and telling them the truth. She also said that leaders should work to find at-risk youth jobs or train them in new skills to prevent future gun violence. "Just hear their voices. They just want to be heard," she said. Stephanie and Zenobia are calling for 2 things in the aftermath of several shootings in Knoxville, claiming young lives: healing and change. Both said that after tragedies like gun violence, people can start healing by surrounding themselves with supportive friends and family. "You have to have positive people around you, always," Zenobia said. "You can't do it alone. You're not alone, and you can't do this by yourself." The mothers share a mission working towards change so that no other families need to be where they sit and share their experiences. They are advocating to stop gun violence. I have to go out and speak to people and let my voice be heard, and my son's voice be heard, because no one will ever hear his voice again, says Zenobia. My greatest revenge was to stand up for my son, and I will continue that because many more children deserve their life. Both said that the only way the issue can be solved and gun violence can be stopped is for Knoxville community to move forward as one, together for the city's children. And this was by 10 News as well. And this is pertaining to a young man by the name of Xavion Dobson, who died in 2015 in the Lonsdale Community Housing Development. And he was gunned down. It was a drive-by. Sorry about that. It was a drive-by. So as you see, there's an uptick in crime. A few young people have been murdered here recently in the past couple of weeks. If you need verification for the storyline, please log on to 10 News. There's also said video and commentary with Miss Zenobia and other people in the community in these said articles that I brought to you. I will pray for Knoxville, Tennessee, as I will for all of America. We have a problem here in the world in general. People are violent. People have horrible mindsets. They're vengeful. And frankly, it's the work of the devil, quite frankly. And we just have to pray for people's mindsets and their temperaments, because this is what's going on. People are just out here gunning people down for no reason. No reason. And even in their minds, if they think it's a good enough reason, we know it isn't. So I want you to pray for Knoxville, Tennessee. Pray for these mothers who have lost their children to gun violence. Pray for these young people who have died. And pray for this young lady who was in a car recently. And words were exchanged. And the guy got out. And he shot up the car. And she was shot in the head. And they tried to save her at UT. But they could not. So prayers to her family, her children. Because it is a shame to be left without a parent. Especially over nonsense. I want to thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless you all.